Hey how-to heroes, welcome back. So recently I had to have my AC replaced and they had to cut this hole in the sheetrock, so I figured what better thing to do, show you how to fix it. Brace yourselves as I go really fast through the products that you'll be using here, but you can slow it down if you need to. First, we'll take the two wooden strips, our support pieces, we're going to screw those into the sheetrock hole. That way we have a place for our actual piece of sheetrock to fasten to. Just make sure you get two pieces wide enough, and we're going to use some 1-inch sheetrock screws here to attach it. Here I'm trimming off the excess. When they use the keyhole saw, just a rough saw, so when it cuts it tears the sheetrock paper. I'm just trimming that up so that I don't have to deal with it in my actual sheetrock mud. And then I'm just going to check out the camera real quick there. Make sure you got it good and cleaned up before you move on, and you'll be able to make this a pretty smooth and seamless project. Now I use the piece that they cut out when they cut the hole, but if you have to cut your own piece, just fit it to the size of the hole you need, and then you're going to attach it to the wooden strips using the 1-inch sheetrock screws. And just keep in mind, make sure you bury the head of the screws just below the surface of the sheetrock. Don't super bury it, just deep enough so you can actually mud over it. Now we're going to put a bed of the 20-minute mud down. It's again 20-minute mud. We're just getting it on there thick enough so we can lay our tape here in just a second. We want this so we can bed that tape and make it nice and smooth. We're not looking for perfection, just getting it thick enough we can actually bed the tape. Now, using the mesh tape, we're just going to put it on our seams, each one of our seams, and I'm going to look at this like I'm trying to recreate the wheel here. And use your knife, your 6-inch taping knife, to tear the edges. You just hold it down and then pull the tape and it tears. And you're going to do all four seams. I'm not a sheetrock guy, but I did watch Paul Peck Drywall, #DrywallTube. Make sure you go follow him on YouTube. He is a great resource for this stuff. I am not a sheetrock guy, but I watch his videos, and being a handyman and do-it-yourselfer, I do know how to do my own sheetrock, but there's times where I make it look like it's so much more difficult than it should be. But really, sheetrock is something anybody can do. Alright, here I'm just pushing the mud out of the tape. I'm trying to get that tape bedded into the mud by putting pressure on it. The mud comes through the mesh tape, and then I'm able to smooth everything out. Then we're going to put this last piece here. Make sure we get all 4 seams done. That way we're not worried about mud cracking. This keeps it from cracking while it dries, when it dries. And then we're just going to smooth it over. What I'm doing now is I'm trying to get it as smooth as possible. The goal here is to not have to use a lot of sanding. So I'm taking my 20-minute mud that I had mixed, and now I'm going to go over top of my joints with the tape on it. And again, now I'm starting to really pull the mud tight against the surface so that I'm not looking like a powder cookie later when I'm sanding this stuff. And you see here I'm actually working some of the bubbles and trying to get some of the trash out. The tape does tend to get some bubbles in it, especially if you got a lower groove there. So just work the bubbles out, use the mud to your advantage, pack it in there, and then scrape it back off. Get you a good tight pull on that mud so that you're not having to do a lot of sanding later. Admire my work for a second there, and then get back up there and do it again. 20-minute mud means that in 20 minutes your mud does start to dry if you mix the right consistency. Alright, so now I've sanded between coats lightly, and now I'm taking my 12-inch knife with some lightweight joint compound that I failed to show in the opening materials list of this video, but it's a 12-inch knife with lightweight joint compound, and I'm spreading that mud evenly across my surface, and I'm really trying to pull this mud in such a way that I will have to do very, very little sanding. And I'm being way over particular with this project at this point, but I wanted to make sure that I didn't have anything wrong with it. I did not mix this with any water. I just did it straight out of the jar, out of the container. Mr. Paul Peck says, make this to a yogurt consistency. I didn't do that because really it's such a small patch. I didn't think I was going to have to do as much, so I didn't do it. So I'm working some of the air bubbles out, trying to make it look really well. If you do mix water with it, yogurt consistency, it helps to pull trash bubbles and keeps your work a lot smoother actually than what it comes out of the 5-gallon bucket. Just pull that mud. I'm going all the way up to the edge of the ceiling where the ceiling meets the soffit here. I'm going all the way to the edge, picking the trash out, and I'm pulling it really tight, making sure that I don't have to work this a whole lot, getting those edges cleaned up, because I do not want to have to sand a whole lot when I get this done. I'll have to sand a little bit, but I don't want to sand like crazy. So once we get it to the place we like, we let it dry. It does take a little while. I think the next day I finally get up. I'm using my sanding block with a 100 grit sandpaper, and that's something else I failed to show in my materials list needed. But I'm just lightly sanding this. You see I'm not putting a whole lot of pressure. You see the dust that's coming off there. This didn't make a whole lot of dust on the bottom when I was done. I just lightly sand it to get some of those high spots out, to get any of those trash places smoothed over. It was very little bit of sanding. I mean, I've done way worse in the past. Now I'm using a sanding block. It's a fine grit sandpaper to knock down that harsh where the 100 grit dug in a little bit. Just getting it perfect, knocking the edges down so that it matches what's already there. I want to be able to paint this and not have it come back looking like crap later. Looks pretty smooth. Now we're going to take a rag and just dust off the sanding dust that's on the surface there. I want to get this as clean as possible just for this little patch. This is where it's key. The first coat of paint here, you can use a primer. I usually use the latex paint. The first coat of paint, I just paint the area I'm working with pretty much. It is going to dry a little different over top of that joint compound, meaning that it's going to dry with a flat look to it. This is a flat paint anyway, but it's really got that drywall compound will suck the paint in, and it will not look like the finished product should be. Then I'm going to take the paint roller and I'm going to go with a second coat and make it look really good. So my first coat, I'm coating that area where I worked at, maybe all the way down if it's a short wall. A lot of times I'll just paint that one little spot and move on, and then come back with my second coat once everything dries to give me that good finished coat on there. Hey, if you like what you're seeing so far, make sure you click the round subscribe button now, ring the bell for notifications so you get updated on all my future videos, and make sure you leave me a hashtag HOW-TO-HERO in the comments. While you're at it, watch our videos on how to build a custom kitchen island and how we updated and upgraded our ugly laundry room. Everybody, thanks for watching, and as always, have a great day.